Hey guys, Mark here. Just a little video I'm making to help out the beginners, help you understand a little bit more about the idle up feature on the 6-channel collective pitch helicopters. So 6-channel helicopters are capable of flying inverted. Now to do this, you got to hit a switch on your transmitter called idle up. It's also called flight mode, stunt mode, or 3D switch. Okay, it can be, you'll hear it called all four of those names. Now there's another switch that some transmitters have that's called throttle hold. Throttle hold is different than your idle up switch. So basically, let's look at, for normal mode, when your switch is back, okay, and the helicopter is in normal mode, when you increase your throttle, both the throttle of the motor is going to increase and the pitch of the blades. They'll start getting a little bit of pitch on them, okay? So when you're increasing the stick, you're controlling two actions. You're controlling the pitch of the blades and the speed of the motor, okay? So when you flip this into idle up switch, more or less what's happening is the switch is going to lock the motor at, a set RPM. So at that point, all you're controlling, this stick, is only controlling the pitch of the blades. It's not really controlling the motor. I mean, it is to a certain point, but that's all just, it's better to think of it as when you idle up, you're only controlling the pitch. All right, so when you're in idle up, mid-stick is 0 degrees pitch. This means at mid-stick, the helicopter's not going anywhere. It's not going up and it's not going down. Okay, when you give it positive pitch, it'll go up. When you give it negative pitch, it'll go down. So you would give it negative pitch if you're flying inverted. All right, but for most people, until you get good at flying, you're never going to use that idle up switch. So you're always going to want to make sure that's backwards. Once you get comfortable with flying and once you want to try doing some loops or 3D, or if you're flying in a lot of wind, that's when you're going to use your idle up switch. But if you're a beginner and you're just starting out, tape the switch backwards so that you don't accidentally hit it, because if you're a beginner, trust me, you just don't want to hit that switch. But the throttle hold switch, what that does is that locks the transmitter out, basically. When I hit this switch on my transmitter, even with the helicopter on, I can go full throttle and the helicopter's not going to do anything because this switch is holding the throttle off. All my servos will still move, but my throttle won't. So that's what the throttle hold switch is. Now, again, the E-Sky helicopters, they don't have a throttle hold switch. They have a trainer switch, but it's not a throttle hold switch. Now the Exceed RC 2.4 gigahertz transmitter here I have, you can program, your transmitter for whatever, but again, I've got mine programmed so that this is my throttle hold switch and this is my idle up switch. I'll show you a little bit more about what happens when you put your helicopter in stunt mode here with mine. And in case you're wondering, this is my EXI 450 Squadron, the one I got from X-Heli. Okay, so I'll just show you a little bit more about idle up. Some people like to do it when it's sitting on the ground. Some people like to put it in idle up when it's in the air. I myself like to put it in idle up when it's in the air. I just find it easier. No matter what you do, it's kind of personal preference. But basically, when you start your helicopter up, your helicopter shouldn't take off until, it shouldn't take off before mid-stick. If your helicopter is starting to lift off the ground before mid-stick, you've got it set up a little bit wrong, probably. So anyways, if you were going to take your helicopter and put it in idle up before you got off the ground, what you would be doing is you would increase your throttle stick to mid-stick, right? So that's you should have 0 degrees pitch on your blades at mid-stick in normal mode. Now when you put it in idle up, you should still have 0 degrees pitch at mid-stick, but you'll hear the throttle is going to spin up a lot faster. And I'll show you here what's going to happen. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it up slowly until I get to mid-stick, right? Now the helicopter shouldn't go anywhere because it should have 0 degrees of pitch at mid-stick in normal mode, all right? Now I'm at mid-stick, and it's, mine will kind of hop around a little bit. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in idle up, and you'll hear the motor kick up a lot. Hear it? All right, so now the motor is spinning at 80% throttle, and my throttle stick is only controlling the pitch of the blades. So I come up, I can bring it up, and you come down, you come down. Now, if you're going to do a loop, or you're flying in wind, you're going to want to be in idle up mode, okay? Now, again, myself, like I said, I like to flip mine into idle up when it's in the air. So what I usually do is I'll start flying it around somewhere and flip it into idle up when I'm flying. Now I just flipped it out of idle up just for normal flight mode. So like normal flight mode for most, especially beginners, you know, just keep it in normal flight mode because you're really not going to have any reason to put it in idle up. Now if you're flying in a lot of wind, then yeah, idle up is really kind of a necessity. Or if you plan on doing any kind of loops, you're going to want to have idle up. But if you're just putting around, beating around in the sky, just keep it in normal mode. But again, you know, mine's in normal mode right now. So what I want to do, like, you know, usually when I'm going to put it in idle up switch, see now it's in idle up, you know. But like I said, I flip mine into idle up on the fly. It's personal preference. But unless I'm doing like loops or something, I like to keep mine in normal mode. My battery lasts a little bit longer, and it's a little bit easier to fly. I think it's a little bit less sensitive, at least with this helicopter. My other one, because I've got the Expo set differently, that one it doesn't really matter. But this one is kind of this one's a fast helicopter. It likes to scoot, so. But anyways, those are my basics on idle up for the beginners. Hope somebody found that helpful. Like I said, I mean, if you're a beginner, just stay out of idle up because you really don't need it.